Hello everyone, this is Rachel live from Kalkine Studios and you're watching The Early Trades, a show where we share with you a glimpse of the Australian share market at the open, along with the global and domestic drivers triggering market momentum. Australian shares did open higher this morning, tracking mildly positive cues from Wall Street, with soaring energy prices likely to benefit local energy firms. Investors are also positive as they highly expect a US Congress to reach a deal to avert a government debt default. The ASX-200 opened the day gaining 0.57% after falling 0.6% to 7,206.5 points yesterday. 9 of 11 sectors have traded lower over the week. Although little has changed, consumer staples is today's best performing sector so far. The major ASX-listed companies scheduled to pay latest dividends to their shareholders include the Breville Group, Invocare, South32, Super Retail Group and Wesfarmers. The top gainers of the day on the ASX during opening trade are Collins Foods, Clinival Pharmaceuticals, Janus Henderson Group, Iluka Resources and Hub24. The bottom performing stocks are Beach Energy, Oil Search, Illumina, Domino's Pizza and AusNet Services. Over on Wall Street, the Dow Jones was up 0.05%, the S&P 500 was up 0.15% and the Nasdaq ended 0.2% higher. Moving on, let's take a look at some major developments in the US market. Soaring energy prices retreated and stocks on Wall Street rebounded yesterday after the top US Senate Republican backed an extension of the US debt ceiling and Russia calmed volatile natural gas markets in Europe. The unrelated moves eased growing angst amongst investors over a possible historic default on US government debt. US natural gas futures plunged more than 10% a day after they soared to a 12-year high. Earlier, a strong private payrolls report helped boost expectations that the US Federal Reserve would soon taper its massive bond purchases. US private payrolls increased by 568,000 jobs in September as COVID-19 infections subsided. That's according to the employment report from the ADP that pointed to a recovering jobs market. Now let's take a very short break. I'll be back soon.
Property by Kalkine. Looking for a dream home? Well, that may sound easy, but it isn't. And from looking for a property that is the right fit for you in terms of cost and other factors, to zeroing down on the right mortgage plan, there are various aspects to consider. And for the latest slowdown in the property market, tune in on Kalkine TV with me, Sage. I will give the latest updates on the property market as well as real estate stocks to help you make the right decision. Keep watching Property with Kalkine.
And welcome back. You're watching Kalkine TV live from Sydney and this is the Early Trade Show. Let's take a look at some prominent ASX shares during early trades. The first company on our list today is restaurant group Collins Foods. They've entered into a deal to run the franchise business of KFC Netherlands. Collins Foods will develop, manage and operate the KFC Netherlands. As part of the deal, the KFC Netherlands is a subsidiary of New York-listed Yum Brands. It will develop up to 130 new KFC restaurants in the Netherlands over the next 10 years. The share price of Collins Foods was trading at $12.54 during early trade. The next company is buy now, pay later player Sezzle, which has entered into a partnership with US retail player Target ahead of the holiday season. Sezzle first announced the news on the 3rd of June. Another buy now, pay later partner of Target called Affirm saw their shares soar 20% on the Nasdaq following the partnership's launch. Through the partnership with Affirm and Sezzle, Target is investing in new financial tools to make shopping experiences more flexible and personalised. The share price of Sezzle was trading at $5.19 during opening trade. Next company on our list is Qube. The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission has announced it'll investigate Qube's $90 million acquisition of the Newcastle Agri Terminal. Qube was requested by the ACCC to delay the transaction after competition concerns were raised by market participants. Following the acquisition, Qube is alleged to engage in anti-competitive business practices. The share price of Qube is trading at $3.28 during opening trade. Looking at the bond yields, the yields on the US Treasury 10-year benchmark fell from more than 3-month peaks. 10-year note yields fell to 0.7 basis points to 1.5241%. In the currency space, the dollar rose towards a one-year high touched last week as inflation concerns, fueled by surging energy prices and the outlook for rising rates, knocked investors' appetite for riskier assets. The dollar index rose 0.228%, while the euro was down 0.34%, and the yen tracked down by 0.04%. Moving on to the oil space, prices of crude oil fell following news reports that US stockpiles have increased. Oil prices slipped nearly 2% after hitting multi-year highs. Brent crude futures fell 1.79% to settle at $81.08 a barrel, and US crude settled down 1.9% to $77.43 a barrel. Energy stocks such as Woodside Petroleum were trading lower during early trade, whereas Santos edged lower during early trade this morning. Meanwhile, gold prices edged higher following a silent retreat in US bond yields, boosting the safe haven asset. US gold futures settled up 0.1%. ASX-listed gold stocks such as Northern Star Resources were seen in the green during early trade, while Newcrest Mining was also trading lower during opening trade this morning. That's all for the early trades this morning. This is Rachel signing off, but stay tuned to Kalkine TV as we bring you more shows with live updates across the economy, markets and sectors.